Before you go into that one, I just gotta ask you one more question about your team.
Okay.
Are y'all still them boys?
You know what? I have a different level of context for you on that answer.
Okay.
Yes, we are still those boys, and we're going to continue to be those boys until men step up and play a grown man's game like it's supposed to be played. So, absolutely, we are still them boys because what I used to root for
Mm-hmm.
were champions. And remember, ladies, for all of your comfort and around the house wear, lingerie, comfy clothes, make sure you visit quickvisits.com. That's QUIKVISITS.com for all of your lounge wear, lingerie wear, sport wear, workout wear, athletic wear. Make sure you go to quickvisits.com. They'll be there for you, and you'll love that I tell you. Welcome, everyone, to another episode of No Jazz. I am your host, KD. And of course, I have my man to my right, your left, my right, right, left. Tank, tell the people what's up, Tank.
What's happening, people? What's happening? Yeah, this is gonna be a good one.
You representing the night. You representing the night with the colors. You representing the night with the colors. I feel you. I feel
Yeah.
you. That's what's up. That is what's up. And everyone, we just want to make sure who are joining us because we are actually live. I don't think Tank knew that. We live on my page. I'm trying to test something to see if it's going. And his background was moving. So I said, since the background up here, let's see what we got going on. And we're gonna go live with a little freestyle. And remember to hit us up at nojazzshow@gmail.com. Hit us up on Twitter at nojazzshow. Hit us up on Facebook page at nojazzshow. Hit us up on Instagram at no.j or noj.a.s.s. Make sure you hit that like button on YouTube. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And without further ado, what you just witnessed, like we just gonna start. We just gonna start where we started. We're gonna start where we're starting. We're gonna start where we are starting because we are live. And I just turned off that mess.
I
It
thought it
was
was
already a
nice.
day full of. It was already a day full of whatever type games to me, but that was a mess, man. I haven't even had the opportunity to peel off my skin. So you know,
Hey, y'all, I'm telling you, that's what happens when your owner refuses to spend any money in free agency.
you believe that?
I believe that's part of it. There are gaps that y'all have on offense and defense that theoretically could have been addressed via free agency, but he refused to do it because he always says he's the best person to be the GM. No one can do the job that he does, and we're seeing the job that he's doing. What he said this past week about Derrick Henry wouldn't have been fit for the offense and all that. No, if you would have gotten Henry, you would have had a legitimate running game. You came in averaging 77 yards per game rushing. That's not going to get it done, regardless of regardless of any league. Varsity football on up, you need to be able to put up more than 77 yards a week rushing. That was pathetic. And he went and got the Mr. Done ate too much Zeke to fill that gap. That wasn't smart. And I mean,
And coincidentally, Zeke ate too much, and they got to cook. So
yeah,
that
bad.
it's not preparing any form of a meal. Most definitely, man. You say it's the free agency. I say it's sorry about that. I say it's depending on a Big 8 or excuse me, a Big 12 wide receiver and a
That
third,
too.
fourth round SEC quarterback to carry you. They just don't have that dog. They are what they
Yeah.
are.
Yeah.
Now,
You've gotten more than you could have expected out of that. He's drafted in the 4th round for a reason. I mean, of course, you want him to play better than that, but he is what he is. And tonight, he almost had a 3rd pick because I don't know what the hell he was looking at. I don't know what the hell he was looking at when in the game on the line, and he throws right to 3 defenders. Hey, one of y'all get this.
I mean,
8 years in the league,
does,
you can't be
does
doing
he
that.
think does he think that an interception is also still a completion? That's how they do it in
Yeah,
Mississippi.
yeah, I think that's it. That's it, Mississippi
Mississippi
math.
rule.
Yeah.
Okay, because like I said, man. Anybody that said anyone that said Dak deserved to get paid when he was at 40 million could not have been watching him on HD. You had to be watching him on fatback television with an aluminum foil bowl at the top trying to get reception because there is no way you could have thought he deserved to be paid that much money to take away
yeah,
from him.
yeah, I mean, I say this every other week or what, they need to get away from paying the position and start paying the player and get out of this next man up stuff because being the next man up should not guarantee that you're going to be the highest paid at your position when you're not the best, when you're not even top 5 in your position.
Yeah,
Uh,
terrible, man. Terrible. But you know what? Everybody just watched that. I hope everyone has all their funny memes out about it. It's probably not even funny anymore. They're funny memes about the Cowboys because moving right along, there was a great finish, and it's a hard way to lose a game if you are a Chicago Bears fan or a Chicago Bears.
hold on,
Yeah.
hold on. Before you go into that one, I just got to ask you one more question about your team.
Okay.
Are y'all still them boys?
You know what? I have a different level of context for you on that answer.
Okay.
Yes, we are still those boys, and we're going to continue to be those boys until men step up and play a grown man's game like it's supposed to be played. So, absolutely, we are still them boys because what I used to root for
Mm-hmm.
were champions. All your food delivery needs, make sure you go to Light Snack, that's LYTE snack.com. And make sure for all your deliveries, whether it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner, you visit Light Snack and they'll deliver it right to your door. And make sure when you get those deliveries, make sure you're ordering those Magic City wings. And remember, their motto, don't forget to lick the sauce. So yeah, them some boys out there. And stick that in your pocket. It's deep, Dak. Stick that in your pocket. I don't like you. I mean, not personally. I don't like you as a
Yeah.
player. I just don't. I think you're trash. I think you are straight garbage. I mean, to the. My word is dumpster juice. Worse than the garbage. Lower, you the juice at the bottom of the dumpster barrel. Now, the cream, and I hate to be saying this because it's sad that new quarterbacks come in every year and they're
Mm-hmm.
compared to would you take him over an established
Over.
$1 million player. And
Right.
shout out to Jaden Daniel, man. That was
That
phenomenal.
dude. Yeah.
Extended
He's
play.
different.
Um, in that moment, you really have nothing to lose all the game because no one is going to hold it against you for not getting the play. But it's the play before the little slant move, the little slant route
Mm-hmm.
before that
Yeah.
set up enough to get on the ball and get that long bomb, man. That was, and I hear a lot of people like bat it down. No, the safety just couldn't get enough hand on it to bat it down. But the cornerback should have been back there with Noah.
Yeah, there should have been someone back there.
Yeah, still should have been someone back there. But that was phenomenal. I mean, he was in that pocket at least 8.5 seconds running around.
13 seconds.
It was 13 seconds.
That's a long time to be run for a play, period.
It's a real pass rush, but that's a long time. That was fantastic, man. I have to give him a shout out. First in the division, number one.
And I didn't think he was playing this week until today I found out, okay, he's actually playing, because I thought he was still out with the ribs. And I think today, and we're still early in the season, it was just at midway point, but unless he goes into the tank, I think he's sold up Rookie of the Year. And it's possible that he could end up getting some votes or winning league MVP.
You know how they try to, and it's still early, but you know how they try to say that signature game.
Yeah.
I'm the second pick, playing against the number one pick, who arguably has a more talented wide receiver core than I do. But look at the stats, and you can see that I utilize my core far better than the number one pick. Caleb Williams is using his core.
Right.
And I was down at home, and I beat number one with a signature. I mean, that play is going to go in NFL's films types. This is why you watch the NFL.
Yeah, that's gonna be
around for a long time.
Yeah.
So the moment he definitely has that moment that makes you say he's definitely going to win an ESPY. He's nominated for an ESPY. That play is nominated for an ESPY.
Yeah, what he showed, that poise, the way he extended the play, and again, 13 seconds is an extremely long time to keep a play alive. And then he threw the ball perfectly.
Perfectly.
The way it arced and the way it went over the defender's head right into his receiver's hands, it reminds me of when Doug Flutie threw the pass to Faden. The ball didn't get tipped, and the ball just went right over. I mean, it shouldn't have happened. It shouldn't have happened. The safety, someone should have been back there, back the ball down. They tell you, back the ball down. Don't try to get the pick. Don't knock it up. And the arm strength. He threw that ball from the 40, from his 40. So it actually traveled 60 yards in the air because it came down, around the 2 or the 1 yard line.
Let's go here. The arm strength in the fourth quarter, last play of the game, after you ran around for 13 seconds. Like,
yeah,
the stamina.
Yeah, he got it there. I mean, it didn't flutter.
Real injury.
Yeah, it didn't flutter. It got there. And Dan Quinn is looking at possibly being Coach of the Year. Dan Quinn, who used to coach your defense.
Hey, let me before we go any further. Like there's a lot, and I know it's coincidence, right? But there has been like 450, 600 years of sports, right? But that's the second time in 15 seconds you figured out how to reference one of my teams. You know the first one too. And they had a great weekend. But that's the second time you reference one of my teams.
Hey, I got the gift and I got to use it.
Yeah. are we stuck in your mind? You know, but yeah, great play. Washington won, and you know who lost? I'll tell you who lost. Somebody who
Okay.
said that he was going to be the difference maker for the team, and he lost to a 1-16. Or are they 2-5? Well, they 2-5 now. New England Patriots just beat the Jets.
Yeah. I mean,
Where's Devontae? Where's Devontae?
there's he gave the speech. He gave the speech after the game
Oh, they're not
about
excited. They're not excited.
yeah. He gave the speech after the game last week, talking about lack of energy, and he has been in winning organizations, and he knows what needs to be done. And they go out there and they lose to a team that has nothing.
The bottom of the division.
I mean, they lose to a team whose coach said last week they were soft. And
And we know how he can be.
yeah, I, I, I just
I don't know. I think we're putting a little bit. We as the media, we as fans, we hold on to these names too long. Like once they have those 3 good years and they get paid, and you somehow feel like, oh, wherever they go, they're going to do this and they're going to do that. Nah, that stuff be over. That stuff be over.
yeah, yeah.
Just need to
You
hold
can't.
on too long.
Yeah, I don't think it was wise, and you can say this is hindsight now, but I don't think that it was wise to hang everything, put all your eggs in one basket with a 41-year-old quarterback, particularly when he's coming back off a torn Achilles.
Absolutely.
And you went out and you've gotten all these former Packers on this team. You go out and get Devontae, and it's, they're going to be saying, hey, it's going to take time to get chemistry, this, that, and other. You don't have time to get chemistry together. Your season is going into straight down the toilet.
And
I mean,
Buffalo is about to run away with your division. And
yeah.
coincidentally, the last time, even though he's older, but the last time a disgruntled Raiders wide receiver left for the AFC East, it was Randy Moss. No, left for the AFC
No.
East to go play with a future
Go.
Hall of Fame quarterback. Let's not
Yeah.
forget that. It was Randy Moss and Tom Brady. But this is totally different right now after 2 games. 0-2. 0-2. Since the DA came back to town, to the New York State offices. 0-2. Very surprising.
And I still say firing Salo was the wrong move. You fired a man after having 5 games with what's supposed to be their franchise quarterback. You fired him after those 5 games. You fired him after his quarterback decides that he wasn't going to come to training camp to get his chemistry with these new teammates. You fired him after your quarterback has decided that he's above everyone else. And what do you have now? You got the same thing that you had before. You just got one extra player. I don't get it. New York is one of those franchises they're in the top 5 worst run franchises in the NFL and possibly in sports. I mean, think about it. The last good quarterback, not great, but last good quarterback they had for more than 1 or 2 years, I would say, would be Ken O'Brien. That's how far back you got to go. Because Chad Pennington was all right, but
a little bit. I get Testaverde came in a little bit, and like he wasn't bad. Testaverde
they had one playoff appearance.
my man out of Marshall that played with Moss.
Pennington was all right, but he was always hurt.
Yeah, he was brittle. He was brittle. Now, let me tell you something. Speaking of top 5 worst franchises in the NFL, we'll stay in there. Are you hungry?
Are they what?
Are you hungry?
Yeah.
Okay, what you want?
Well, I got wings cooking right now.
Okay, that's a
And
W.
some
That's a
other
W.
stuff.
You got some wings cooking. I got some crab legs cooking, and I got a W cooking. James J-Bo stood tall today and outplayed Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, he did.
He stood toe to toe with his division rival, because everybody in y'all division is just a rival. In some way, form, or fashion, it's still history there.
Yeah.
He stood up and got the W in the name of Watts, in the name of Winston. I don't know what type of pep talk he gave, but he was toe to toe, strike for strike. Shout out to Winston. That was it was good to see that happen for him.
Yeah. And the thing about Winston, Jameis, I like Jameis, but I feel that after 2 weeks, reality is gonna set in.
I understand.
Yeah, but today was a good day. And I'm sure Cleveland is happy. The Browns fans are happy because they didn't expect that at all.
Right.
They didn't know that was coming. No one could have predicted that. And you can't run Henry a handful of times or 10 times and expect the way you've been using that offense, the offense has been running, and not use him and expect to win. You just can't.
Right.
You need to feed that man the ball 20 times a week, 20 times at least.
Chubb did his job too. Chubb came in and he was toting that rock steadily to keep that play action
Yeah.
moving for Winston. But you know what I did notice? The same thing used to happen in Tennessee when Derrick Henry was with Mariota. And then you get to the playoffs and they figure out how to beat the running QB and the dominant running back. It's not difficult to simulate a running QB because all I got to do is look down my roster and I can find a wide receiver that used to play quarterback in high school. And what we're going to do is we're going to simulate when you take off. And I'm not saying that they're Lamar Jackson or Mariota, but that running ability, cutting ability can be simulated through the wide receiver on your roster easily. But it's hard to simulate and look down your roster and find a 6'5" quarterback gonna stand tall in the pocket and make all the throws. Because if he could do that, he would be your starting quarterback. And
Right.
so when Jameis Winston steps in there, if you look at the 3 losses, and actually, oddly enough, Dak came a little close to beating them, but they weren't ready yet. But the Ravens' losses have been to, I'm going to stand here and I'm going to make all the throws quarterbacks. And I believe going down the road, that is a way to neutralize that weapon that they have of Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. And the reason I say that is, from the simulation process, is my defense every week is going against a running quarterback. My defense every week is not going against a stand tall, make all the throws quarterback. So when I see it, I'm not used to covering that guy that's making that pass or he willing to make that pass or that. I'm not seeing that route like that. So it's something to be said as they move forward, because Jameis opened up something today. whether the reality, and I mean on the Ravens side, whether the reality sets in on what the Cleveland does, something got exposed today, and I know the league is watching.
Yeah.
Well,
If you were Chubb, or if you were the Browns organization, would you have let Chubb come back and play, or would you have given him this year to just keep rehabbing and let him play, and wait and let him come back next year?
I think that's going. The adrenaline was flowing today. Boxers rebellion set in. The usage of running backs, the way they sit them out to dry. Does he really have the leverage to sit out a year and know he can come on back? So I believe there was something in the back that made them ask him what he wanted to do.
I'm in favor of him coming back.
Right.
As a player, yes, I want to come back and play. I'm healthy now. Let me see if I can help get this thing turned around. And as an organization, I would have wanted him to come back and play if he's capable. Because the bottom line is they haven't really been in that business for a long time. But you're supposed to be in the business of winning. That's why you're there. And if he's your best back, that means he gives you the best chance of winning. I would have wanted to play if I was Chubb, and if I was his coach, or if I was the upper management, I would want him on the field just to see what he has. And if he's productive, if he's showing, okay, he's about back to where we need him to be, keep him in there. If he's looking like Booby Miles after he got hit the first time, we're going to sit him down.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And segueing into, the injured, we have down in Miami, the battle of the headache versus the head case. Arizona, Kyler Murray, went down to Miami and met up. Well, the teams met, but faced the comeback of Tagovailoa. And pretty good game today.
Yeah, I didn't expect that many points out of Miami.
I didn't expect that many points. Hey, you know what though? Shout out to Arizona. They had 5 minutes left on the clock. And the reason I know this is because I had a parlay in an over of Hill getting 82 yards. And he sat there on 72. I just needed a garbage 10, man. That's why it sticks out of my head. I just needed garbage 10. And they held that ball to the clock ran. I was like, man.
Yeah, I was glad to see Tua back, and glad to see when he took off and ran that one time and he slid. I was like, okay, let's see if he gets up. And he got up, and no, I'm not waiting with bated breath every time he gets hit, thinking that this is going to be it. Because I think there's been a bit of hyperbole. They're acting like, okay, if someone breathes hard on him, he's going to be gone. He's going to be a vegetable, which isn't the case.
Right.
I mean, and I did see one play. It looked like the defenders pulled up on him as not to light him up the way they used to do against Joe Namath only when he's on his last leg.
Right.
And you can call this sportsmanship, which is fine. But me personally, if I was playing defense and I saw him coming through there and I had a clean shot, I had a kill shot, it was gonna be legal. I'm like Maverick and Top Gun. I got tone and I'm taking my shot.
Hey, that's gonna come into play. That's gonna come into play when those games are on the line, and you might need to see how division rivals
Yeah.
battle him. Just same question in regard to Chubb for Tua. What do you say? How do you feel about him coming back?
Again, as an athlete, if
Even if it was
I'm able to play, let me play. If I'm the coach and I'm management, we have nobody else to put under center. If you've been cleared to go under center, I want you to play. And hey, let's not get it twisted. I just gave you $200-some million.
hey,
Unless you got a drool bucket, you need to get under center. And I'm glad that he came back. I'm glad that he played well. And you can't handle him with kid gloves. You want him to protect himself.
want him to protect himself, right?
But he can't. But at the same time, you don't want him in there. You can't have him in there protecting himself to the detriment of the team. Hey, well, if I would have run and put my head down and gotten the extra yard for the first down to keep the game winning, to keep what would have been the game winning drive alive. But I can't want to take a chance on getting hit in the head and being out.
Absolutely.
There's gonna be times during the game and during his career that he's gonna have to throw caution to the wind, and he's gonna have to do whatever, and everyone's just gonna have to look and say, hey, okay, he got up. Okay, he's okay. But I'm no doctor, but I don't think that he is so apt to, as soon as someone touches his head, because his head is gonna hit the ground, or his head is gonna hit somebody's thigh, or somebody's helmet or shoulder. He's gonna get hit in the head.
He's in soft tap territory, and we've seen
Yeah.
it. He be kind of, yeah.
Yeah. He's
Absolutely.
gonna get hit in the head, and everybody's just gonna have to deal with it and move forward. I mean, it is what it is. You can't the NFL, college, people need to realize this about football. It's a collision sport.
Absolutely.
And you cannot, and I say this all the time, you cannot control a car wreck. You can't. Okay, if you're in a car wreck or you're about to hit somebody, you can't say, well, I'm going to make sure I veer this way a little bit, and so that I barely hit his fender. That way, when he spins, it's not going to go into a tailwind spin where he's out of control. You can't do that. Once physics happens, it happens. You can't go against the law of physics.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I wish him the best. Again, great game, Arizona. Now let's travel 75 north to Tampa Bay. I'm gonna say something, man. Today, as I saw it on TV, me being from the Bay Area, that honeysuckle orange is iconic. Like
I love that uniform.
I have to. It has, unfortunately, it has the 0-16.
0-26.
Yeah, actually, it went into the next year. The 0-26 stigma about it. It does also have the 1979 and 1981 playoff about it. But that honeysuckle orange is iconic. And I wish they would have had the socks that they have now back then, because they just had the plain sock. But the little red stripe,
yeah,
Bucko Bruce.
yeah.
And a lot of people gonna be like, yeah, I know you're a cowboy. You a Buccaneer hard. You still love them Bucks, them Cowboys. I know the Cowboys are my wife, and the Bucks are my side chick. This wifey though, no matter how Jerry Dragon. But at any rate, battle in the NFC South. It looked it looked like the Bucks had something today with the run game. With White and Bernadette, what it is? Sterling, whatever his name is. He was running that ball a little bit. He was toting it.
It's
Let me figure
how
that.
much.
He deserved
Yeah,
his prop.
yeah, but I give the Bucks this. They came in really under gun
Irvin.
because you got Evans out, you got Godwin out. I mean, it's like they didn't make any moves to trade for anybody, and they're not. Todd Bowles said he's fine and good with the guys that he's got, and that's a nice vote of confidence. But in reality, I just don't think they had the capital to make a trade for any good receiver that comes available. Because
Oh,
Mike Williams right now would be good down there.
And the Bucks might be arguing a little bit today, because this is gonna come up too, and I got the film on it. I'm gonna put that on the No Jazz page and vote on it, and it's gonna be up for everybody to vote on. So make sure you go to the No Jazz page and vote on this. But Kyle Pitts had a pretty good game today, 2 touchdowns, but one of them was questionable, and he got very careless with the ball. And then Antonio Winfield Jr.
Yeah.
ran up on him, and if Winfield would have swiped the ball first instead of going for the tackle and then letting the hand come through, it would have been no question. But I personally don't believe that ball crossed the plane. The referee, who was right there on the spot, says his angle saw it break with replay, and the Bucks lose by less than a touchdown. But he was scolded. He
Yeah.
Raheem set him down for a series.
Yeah, because you can't. He's what's his 4th year.
Yeah,
This is Pitts. This is your year to make some money.
it's your year to make some money.
Yeah, you can't be doing questionable or stupid stuff. And they need to figure out a way to scheme him open and take advantage of his height, size, and speed mismatch against linebackers. Don't try to put him on a DB because the DB is going to be fast enough to keep up with him.
If you put him on a DB, it needs to be a size jump ball type situation to where his size becomes an advantage. But the speed, definitely.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay. Most definitely.
but
I agree.
so we're gonna see. We're gonna find out if the Falcons are real. The Falcons at this point do look as though they're going to win the division. If the Falcons don't win the division, it's because the Falcons are doing Falcons things.
Yeah, I think they it may be a fight to keep it from being a runaway with the division situation.
Who's fighting? Who in the division is gonna fight them?
Yeah, because the Saints lost to the Chargers today, and they looking like they on a.
Yeah, the Saints aren't gonna do it. Carolina's not gonna do it. Tampa's not gonna be able to do it, especially with losing the 2 receivers they have. I mean,
within the division.
Yeah, Tampa, the Falcons could and should win the division probably by 4 games. They should be 4 games better than anybody else in the division.
Ooh. You talking number 1 seed numbers.
They should. I mean, I don't know what they're gonna do outside of the division, but as far as in the division, they should be 4 games ahead, and they should. They should win. They should win 11 games.
We are now at October 28th, 12:35 on the East Coast. 9:30. You been drinking?
Nothing but water.
For to make sure. Hey, that's a heck of a prediction. That's a heck of a prediction. That's a heck of a prediction. And moving right along, we're gonna go down to mini football. And speaking of predictions, no one predicted Coach Prime to still come in this year and have his Colorado Buffaloes bowl eligible already. Congratulations to the Colorado Buffaloes beating Arizona, bowl eligible. Shout out to Coach Sapp. Shout out to Coach Prime. Shout out to Travis Hunter. 130 plays out of 133 from scrimmage. Almost got a pick to go along with his Heisman Trophy campaign. Shador, was he 300 plus?
Yeah, he went over 300.
Went over 300 running touchdown, passing touchdown. It was done. It was done in good fashion, man. I shout out to him. Congratulations to them boys.
I didn't expect. I expected that they might win 5 games tops, and I expected them. Yeah, and I expected them to look better this year, but making some progress. The fact that they already at 6 wins, and everybody's saying, hey, they bowl eligible, and I've been seeing online, yeah, they're going to a bowl. They're going. My thing is, I don't feel that 6 games should get you in the bowl. It just shouldn't. I don't like it. It's just like that's the 8. You get a ring, you get a bowl, you get a bowl, you get a bowl. Now, eligible, okay, but if they win 7 games, I can see them getting in because there's a possibility they could, if they were to somehow only win 6, they could wind up not getting in the bowl and people are gonna be upset.
Right. They're eligible.
Yeah, but eligible. I think 7 wins, they will be in the bowl game.
Right.
I think
they'll be. Tell that you can tell off end up in the toilet bowl game. Yeah. So it's a feat. It's a feat in its own because of where he came from. Colorado. Right. It's been years. So he has definitely he going to the table saying, I pack your seat and I get you bowl eligible.
Yeah. Now, do you think that the fact that they're bowl eligible, let's say they don't make a bowl, but they're still bowl eligible, is this season right now, and if it ends this way, is it a success or is it just progress and moving in the right direction?
2 things could be right at the same time. It's a success, and they're moving in the right direction because he got some recruits yesterday.
Yeah, and I think one that he got might be C.J. Wiley from Florida State, who decommitted. He might say, "Hey,
Wiley, right?
Yeah,
he got some recruits yesterday with that win. People, kids are definitely looking at the environment as a whole and saying it's okay to be that far away from home because this feels like home. This feels like fun. So he definitely scored him some recruits yesterday with that win. And speaking of recruits, I definitely hope that Mario Cristobal in the University of Miami had all their 5-star defensive tackle and defensive end recruits at the game who want to play next year at that game. Say, hey, I'm not coming to your school unless I play next year. This is the game to watch because shout out to Miami. Moving forward, 7-0. Cam Ward did not throw any touchdowns, but we gutted the mess out of Tallahassee Community College. Down in Hard Rock. The Tallahassee Community College Seminoles came to Hard Rock and their fans are probably on this live still talking about a moral victory.
What moral victory?
I don't know. Oh, I know. They didn't get beat by 50. We didn't put up 50.
It could have happened. Not only did they get humiliated, but their recruiting class for 2025 with the decommitment of Wiley, they no longer have a single receiver in that recruiting class.
So they're
So
gonna have to
you gotta get back on the road and try to find somebody whose job is to catch the ball and say, "Hey, I want you to come here." We ain't. I don't know what we're gonna look like. Hey, I might not even be the coach next year, but FAMU is across the street, so y'all can go. You can go over there
They still
for
recruit
for
like
their
that.
homecoming. But
Shout
you
out,
can go over there for their homecoming.
shout out to FAMU, still recruiting. Our women on the yard. Oh my goodness! Wow. It probably good.
Yeah.
You know what? They need all of them.
Yeah. I can't recall seeing a Power 5 school going from the penthouse to below the outhouse within one season any like this. I can't.
Hold on. That's Tallahassee, man. Double wide trailer. Fancy triple wide trailer. You know. And all of that stuff. You know what?
Yeah.
Now let me stop. Shout out to Killarn. They might have had a penthouse in Killarn. You
Yeah,
know,
because I mean,
or see, I can't anything like that. And shout out to
yeah.
Killarn and all of that stuff. But
But
yeah, that
but can you recall seeing a team go like that? This team was stumping and everything last year, saying we should be in the playoff. We should be playing for a national championship. And this year they look like this is their first year in Division One, moving up from Division Two.
look at the story of it though. Like the story of it is so. It's just so coincidental. Like for instance, you're arguing that we're not going to go play Georgia.
Yeah.
Then Georgia said, okay, y'all rank 6. What I'm going to do is I'm going to send my little brother Georgia Tech down there. I'm going to send my little bumblebee brother. You know, he's a little, he's a little annoying little something. I'm going to send him, I'm going to send him on. Just to check your temperature. You're ranked in the top 10. Check your temperature. Slap them. And they haven't woke up since.
Yeah, I don't, and the only reason I expect their coach to be back next year is because they just paid them all that money.
They still
And they
paying
say,
Tucker.
yeah, they pay, and they just, and Norval, they have him now. But next year, if they're on the similar track, he'll be out of there. Those boosters will say, hey, we can't have this. There's too much talent just in the state for this school for us to be this bad.
I think
Because you seen how the other half lived yesterday. They bounced back. There's no reason for them.
there's a reason. Do you think NIL is affecting like you know there are some Tallahassee being one of them, those cities that are school cities. You know, they're not these conglomerates that have Fortune 500 companies and all of these corporations backing the school. It's booster and alumni money. You know, there are some schools who are just that, and that's what makes it special, economically. And this is not saying Florida State is of poor quality or doesn't have any money at all. This is not saying that. Because 2 hours down south off 75, you have another school that's like that, but they're a little bit more lucrative. And then you have Miami that's right on the city. You know, you even have USF that's right on the city. So I'm just asking, like, what do you think NIL may have an effect on getting?
To a degree, but also, yeah, NIL is doing it, and the fact that these days you can go to any school practically and you're going to be on TV. You know, there was a time in going to these certain schools, not only was the booster
Right.
money, but you were going to be on TV, and that was, I'm going to be seen. So, but now you can go anywhere and be seen. And the NIL is helping. It's helping and hurting. But your recruiting is just, whoever's doing your recruiting is just not good, because you can still, because really, Colorado doesn't have that kind of NIL money. But they're still getting people to come there. We know it's part of it. You know, a lot is most the prime effect. But
hey, Colorado got weed money. Denver right there, Boulder right there. Hey,
yeah,
that's not. Those are still cities.
Yeah, but you got to win over one stellar recruit who has enough pull and influence that other guys want to come and play with them. That's how a lot of this stuff gets started.
So they need a five coming to Tallahassee.
Yeah, they need to get one guy who's like the cream of the crop that every school wants, but you get him to come there, and other guys fall in line like lemming. That's what Florida did when they got Tebow. They said, wait a minute, Tebow going? Oh, I want to play with him. Miami did it for decades. Hey, I don't have to leave home. I can go right across the street to Coral Gables, and everybody else is playing here.
All those guys from around there was, yeah.
And they want to go. But who's come from Florida State that's come into the league who was a top dog lately? Who's come to Florida State and been a difference maker that you're saying, okay, that's who we need. We need to get more guys like that. Or they don't have guys enough influence to go, because they should be able to go. Florida State, just on his name alone, should be able to go into practically any state in the country and pluck out the top 10 talent.
You better bring Scrooge McDuck with you. These boys asking for $2 million.
You got and hey, you need to figure out a way to do it. I don't think I'm telling any tales that nobody already didn't know. But you did it before NIL. You were able to do it.
My thing with
Miami did it.
Man, and it affected us a lot. Boy down in Gainesville tell everything, but I didn't say anything. But I will say this. The way to defend against NIL is turn yourself into Vanderbilt. Turn yourself into North Carolina and say, hey, Virginia, Virginia Tech, I'm going to have to suffer and sacrifice, but I'm going to recruit the best I can, and they may stay here 3-4 years. And in every 3 or 4 years, those seniors,
they rise up.
Younger guys, and then they travel further, and then you start all over again. But at least you're going to have the success, and then that success one of those 4-year cycles may lead to people wanting to come back to your school. So maybe I try that approach.
Yeah, but you Florida State.
What I used to do.
Yeah, but you Florida State now. You shouldn't. That's almost for Florida State to do that, and they might have to go that route. But really, for Florida State to be doing that, it's basically, hey, we used to be hedge fund managers. We lost everything. Now we out here cashing in coins and collecting plastic bottles, trying to get the money again.
But you can
They
hide. You can still hide behind the ACC. Like you can still hide that minimal success as you're rising behind Clemson when they're rising. You can still hide behind if UM is still, doing this thing. You can hide behind Duke coming up. You can hide behind North Carolina. So you can just say, hey, no one is winning every year, but we're in it every other year. So I know they were perennial and they were tops too, and they were always, it was Florida State, Miami, and then Clemson came along, started doing this thing. But you can hide behind them a little bit, as you attempt to rise. But
your
don't
boosters going to be along, or your boosters are going to be okay with that.
and you got to tell the boosters who they are. You booster man. We don't sell Lamborghinis. We don't have that. We don't have 4 and 5 fancy Benz dealership. Fortune 500 companies aren't stacking up down Tennessee Street in downtown, building up here, bringing the youth and generating money. We are what this is, and so our situation has changed into this. Can you be satisfied with billing us as the school that produces the most athletes that actually have their degrees?
Yeah, they have to go. You talking about changing um their complete model, because otherwise there's not going to be.
You're not pulling the
I
boys
don't
out
know.
like that.
Yeah, it's going to be. They have to really come around and realize, hey, we aren't anywhere near what we used to be, and it's going to be a slow burn to
Slow
get
burn.
back there.
And,
Because
and, and you know
actually,
what?
that's what Miami has done. It's been
Yeah.
a slow burn, and now they're back. Now they ain't no.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. You got the big rat over there in Orlando with UCF that might be able to pull more dollars for them kids than what you
Yeah,
could do in Tallahassee. Like it's you got to come up with a strategy, man. You got to come up with a strategy. Now, speaking of highly recruited, um, highly recruited people and highly recruited players. Excuse me.
uh,
We have the highly recruited LeBron James Jr. being demoted back to, after he traveled with the team for these 20 days, the G League. And my question to you, Tank, is, was it just a spectacle? Was it just a marketing promotion? We've already discussed how we feel
yeah,
about it. But now that we see and the coach of the G League, that team says he's not going to be starting. So I think he's taking control of that.
right.
But was it just a spectacle to you?
I think it was a favor to LeBron. Hey, I want to get this opportunity to play on the court with my son. And it was more like a favor to him for what he's done for the organization. And okay, we did it. You got on the court together for a while. And if things pan out, and they probably already knew and probably told him, hey, he's going to the G League, but we're going to let him on the court. We're going to put y'all on the court together. And like, okay, thank you. I appreciate it. I understand it. I understand he's not ready yet, but you're going to let us do it. So yeah, it was marketing. It sold some tickets, I'm sure. and now they're going to treat him like any other player who needs to develop.
Who needs to develop? Absolutely, absolutely. All right, I'm with you on that. I totally agree, and we're gonna switch gears a little bit, but we're gonna stay in basketball, man. You ready for this? What I'm about to throw at you?
All right, what you got?
R.J. Barrett, New York Knicks. R.J. Barrett got a voicemail, and Buddy said, "Will you please give me my money? Give me my money." Uh, for taking my ass. Like. My thing is like with all this Diddy stuff going on, it's just the thing to say, and 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 you're strapped, you're handcuffed, you know, because if you don't answer, why aren't you defending yourself? If you do answer, if you didn't have anything going on, you wouldn't be defending yourself. Like this world we living in, man. I mean, but Buddy said it on the
Hey,
phone. One of you had heard about it. It was kind of crazy.
if you're a Buki bandit, you're a Buki bandit, and you need to go ahead and get it. Try to get it taken care of. If you didn't do it, have your attorney make a statement that I didn't do that. He's not doing it. He didn't do this. My client didn't do this, and hey, we'll let the legal system take its course. But like you said, with the Diddy stuff and all this mess going on, and if you did do it, you didn't do it, so you want to fight for it. But if you did,
You want to fight for you. You want to fight for you. Fight.
if you if you did do it, if you did do it in the future,
I'm too old to use, but that was a good one.
But if you did do it in the future, use the same principle and same concept that Charlie Sheen had. He said, you don't pay a prostitute for sex. You pay her to leave.
To leave. And obviously he ran out on the plug.
Oh, oh, oh.
All right. Moving right along, man. Moving right along. This is some kind of it's been in the news, man, because all this is weekend news and we just covering this while we live, man. Unfortunate sensitivity incident, man. We have a mentor sitting with his mentee talking business, and we've discussed this too. But Angel Reese was on her podcast, and he had I don't know I don't know if that was Shaquille O'Neal, if that was Shaq, if that was Shaq Diesel, Cactus Shaq. But one of them Shaq said, if you had
One of them Shaqs.
if you had on them little shorts and you lowered the rim and was dunking, you sell a whole lot of t-shirts and a whole lot of paraphernalia. Marketing would be, and I saw where he was coming from because it looked like a genuine place. And I know it was a discussion off of why does the WNBA make money, and all the other stuff that's been going on. But she seemed a little uncomfortable with him noticing she wears those. And now they're looking at Shaq like, oh, he's already been like that. The internet kind of going off on Shaq. I don't like it.
I don't.
So what do you think Shaq should do at this point?
Keep doing what he's been doing. Shaq has been somebody who has been giving to so many different people, charities, people just in general. He's a philanthropist. Keep being you. Say, hey, I was joking with Angel. We've had a relationship for a few years. We like a friendly relationship. It's not that deep. I was joking. I didn't mean to make her feel uncomfortable, and leave it at that. He needs to wobble and drop it like it's hot and move somewhere and move on, because it's not. If people knew about their relationship, friends, how they come together, because of not just basketball, but their LSU play,
Because
their LSU.
that discomfort might have been, see, women are on the outside looking in,
Yeah,
and that discomfort might have been saying, hey, I don't want them to know we like Unc and niece like that. I
yeah,
don't know you like young Unc and you can talk to me like that. I don't want them to know that, And then they looking at her discomfort in their own sensitive minds and doing what the internet does. But for me, if I was Shaq, and Shaq you ain't gotta listen to me, but I would distance myself just a little bit. If she is uncomfortable, as those women say, I would distance myself. And I would let
yeah,
her see the power of what she has marketing. I would let her see, okay, you can make it without me. I would let her see that when Shaq was going down to those LSU games, when she wasn't in the
mm-hmm.
WNBA yet, and she was walking all up in Shaq's chest, getting in his shadow to let the world know, oh, I know Shaq because he's an LSU alumni, and it started making us love her a little bit more, because don't act like Shaq was not covering her.
Yeah,
You can't stop the rain. He still is the man. I don't care. Odell Beckham, Jefferson, Jaden Daniels, y'all know who the man at LSU is. So so
yeah,
so that's what I'm saying. I kind of, okay. Let me see what you can do by yourself.
yeah. I don't think he meant it the way that a lot of people are trying to act like he trying to. I really and truly don't.
Unfortunately,
And yeah, and I think also it was jokingly, and he might have also been letting it. He could have also been telling her that way, as far as, hey, you need to watch it if doing that, because he did have a point.
he
Not,
had a point.
hey, not, hey, you can, but it's like, okay, you need to be. You want people to take you seriously, because she's come out and said she didn't like the fact that you got me and sexualizing her, but you coming out there wearing Daisy Dukes to the Wildin' Out thing, and then the other pants she was wearing on thing, and you can't you can't. I don't want to look like it's victim blaming, but if you present yourself a certain way, certain people are going to take a look at you and think that that's what you are, and that's all that you are. Because a lot of people who have been doing all this women's basketball, WNBA, Angel, they are on Angel. They parade Angel Reese out like she's like a perfect 10 or whatnot. People aren't paying attention to the game or whatnot, but okay, they say she's attractive, and that's what being capitalized on as far as work. But if she
Yeah,
wants to be taken seriously outside of that, keep practicing, working on your craft and your other business ventures that don't have to do with your appearance. Work on those, because your league, like you said, your league doesn't pay your bills. She said that herself.
your fans that are
Yeah.
taking up for you, being sensitive for you, are not paying your bill.
Right. Your league lost $40 million this year.
40 million.
So you're doing other things to bring in revenue. And I think Shaq was letting her know, hey, if that's what you're going to do, you're going to have to deal with certain remarks and people acting that way. Not saying that, not
Yeah,
calling it right or wrong, but
exactly.
people gonna
Exactly.
treat you and approach you
Yeah.
the way that you present yourself.
Let me tell you how the consumer who spends money on sports sees you.
Right.
Because this is the same consumer. This is the same consumer that feels like they can talk to any male athlete any kind of way they want to because they buy a ticket.
Right.
You know, and you have to learn how to deal with that. They're not sexualizing you at all. They are, this is fandom. This is how I see it, you know? And if you want to stay like that, you want to keep treating me like this because I'm the one that's spending, I'm going to go watch volleyball.
Yeah, but I think it was much ado about nothing. I think it was blown out of proportion. And because of the climate now.
Free meal. They want a free
Yeah.
meal. And they always pricking and prying at something to get the free meal, man.
Yeah,
But that
because
is, man, one last thing. One last thing. Ice Cube comes out. Game 2 of the World Series. And today was a good day, but he starts out with bow down. So my thing was, that being that platform, this might even be a hit refresh moment, but we're not gonna refresh it. Was that a level of redemption for not being added to the Super Bowl show? Because he been getting a lot of airplay for that, and I thought it was pretty good.
I would say it was, I'm sure that crossed his mind because, and this was, hey, this is me doing this. I don't need all these other folks out here. This is me. Y'all should have had me there, but you didn't. So now I got my chance to do this and this on this big stage myself. And and me saying bow down is not just to our opponent, but also to you all who neglected and left me out of the Super Bowl halftime show.
Hey,
this is what I've been able to do.
Ice Cube is he's a genius because I like the fact that you brought that up. Bow down. LA playing New York. I'm pretty sure the Yankees front office got on the phone with Ja Rule, Jay-Z, Fat Joe, and Jadakiss because they have New York anthem. But the thing I'm saying is Jay-Z, who is over that Super Bowl situation, also has an anthem for New York. And just like you said, hey, I'm letting all y'all know, bow down. You know, I'm not trying to start an East Coast, West Coast rivalry again, even though it's one in baseball right now. But bow down. I control this whole diamond. That was just an awesome show, and that was awesome. Shout out to Cube, man. Shout out to Cube.
It was cute. Yeah, I mean, but I think he did send a message.
Now, Luigi.
I'm here. Yeah, back.
Yeah, you back. Okay.
Yeah,
that's live. That's live. And again, hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on our page, on the YouTube page. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so it was a good moment. I think some people would take it one way or won't look at it, and they'll just think, hey, that was great. I like this. I'm glad I got to see him. Other people will look at it a little deeper and think, okay, you could call that a subliminal, non-subliminal message. And certain people would take it and be like, yeah, well, whoever it was, aimed at.
Whoever it was aimed at. James Smith, eat a W. Absolutely. Speaking of which, we have ran this gamut for an hour. Thank you so much for joining us. And before we go, Tank got any last words? Our final words? This episode. We just live, man. We just it, man.
Hey, really, final words. Probably, I'm just curious. I want to see how this is going to play out the rest of the season, and because I know he's going to declare for the draft. I want to see if this is going to possibly affect him in the NFL. Travis Hunter.
Okay.
The fact, and my thing is, should we'll pull him back from playing both ways or playing as many plays as he does. Because in essence, he's playing 2 games every week. Is he taking away from his NFL longevity? Because Travis is playing 2 games a week. If they go, they play 13 games. If he plays a bowl game, 14 games.
28
He
games.
goes both. He played 28 games. He played 2 seasons in one. Is that gonna is that gonna be wear and tear on him? Because he did it last year too now. And he did it at Jackson State. So in essence, 3 years, that's a lot of football. And you did all this on one scholarship. You basically did 2 folk jobs. You worked overtime for 3 years without getting paid for it. And I'm not talking about NIL pay. I'm talking those a scholarship that somebody else could have been playing one of them positions, but you played too. Now, is this going to affect his longevity in the NFL when he gets there because of that extra wear and tear? I'm just saying maybe you should think about scaling back some of his playing time on both sides of the ball or on one side of the ball, just for his longevity's sake and for his health. That's I'm just wondering if I think that's what he ought to do.
Yeah. As a GM, his agent, I got to be careful with that myself too, because him coming to your team, there might be a spectacle to see him do that. That might be a part of the circus. And I really got to be careful of my body that, hey, man, you're going to do both sides today? And I might not even want to, or this might not be the matchup to do that. I don't need to be going up against Jalen Ramsey and then turning around trying to stop Tyreek Hill. So, and then if he goes to Jerry's world, which I doubt he will, Jerry gonna want him to sign autographs, take pictures, all in the middle of all of that. So you gotta be careful with that, man. I would definitely watch my workload. And my final words are, I had an epiphany.
Triple word score, epiphany.
Epiphany. Hey, shout out to anyone that's joining us, because even though it's not my first time using that word, I always just try to, enhance my vocabulary throughout every episode. So check us out. We have about 18 episodes now. But at any rate, I had an epiphany in regards to the LeBron, the Bronny, the Nepotism. So, and I said, man, a lot of people were against, a lot of people were paralleling that to getting your child a job in corporate America. And then I said, man, you know what? That's actually ingenious. And I said, what if companies said, you as a parent have shown your loyalty to me, and you have worked here, and 20 years gives you eligibility, and your child is coming out of college. We are going to, because of your 20 years, if your child is, if we have a position that's in line with your child's degree or whatever, right? You've been loyal for 20 years. If you want, you're now eligible. We're going to bring your child on and make this the first company that they work. We're going to have us a party. We're going to eat cake. And we're going to sign your child to whatever the position rate or whatever entails. But we're going to give your child a head start because of what you've done for 20 years. And I base this on the fact that LeBron been in the NBA 22. But you're not ready. So we're going to send you back to our company's development courses in school until you're ready to come along. And I said, that's actually fair if I've given you 20 years of service.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying all that to say, if corporations out there hear what I'm saying, and we know these parents out here are working hard for you, and they work hard to get their kids through school, just like you, and you want some familiarity with your company to keep your company running, and someone who respects your company, has been loyal to your company, and you want the generation, don't be so hard on the employee that's been so good to you. And reach your hand down and help him or her or them for helping you. That's my last
I like
word.
that. I like that.
And if it takes on Elon Musk, I need my, And at any rate, this has been No Jazz Live. Thank you all for joining us. And make sure you follow us on Twitter at No Jazz Show. NOJASS, not NOJAZZ, NOJASS, because it stands for Not Just Another Sports Show. It's an acronym. Believe that. Follow us on Instagram at NOJ.A.A.S.S. Go, please. Join our Facebook page at No Jazz Show. Go to YouTube. Again, subscribe. Hit that like button. Definitely do that. And what else do they need to do, Tank? Or make sure they do.
Y'all need to make sure you share.
Hit that share button. But at any rate, it is 1 a.m. I hope my bosses don't see me up on this feed asking me why I wasn't prepared at 8:30 in the morning. You over there on the what? You over there on you over there handling you got plenty out. But at any rate, it's been cool, people. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. Talk to you. You just watched another episode of No Jazz. Follow us on YouTube at No Jazz Show. And make sure you hit us up on Twitter at No Jazz Show. Make sure you hit us up on Instagram at NOJ.A.S.S. Follow us on Facebook on our Facebook page at No Jazz Show. All right? See you soon.